And then comes my second question, which I believe is the question that is on everybody's mind since this video began. Scope kya hai?
Okay. We've been, as you might be aware, we've been doing a small series of episodes targeting 12th standard students or their parents. Even if you don't fit that profile, maybe you can forward it to somebody you know.
And please do.
Please do. After a couple of such episodes, we will get back to our regular programming, but we do recommend that you watch this also. It will increase your knowledge because very soon people will come to you for this advice.
That's why this is future IQ. We are worrying about your future IQ.
Yeah, in general, if you follow future IQ, you are going to become soon the go-to person for all Gyan in your circles. So might as well.
And it's okay if you don't give us credit. If it's okay if you don't say you learned this from Naveen, we're fine with it. As long as the sum total of knowledge in the universe increases, we are completely fine with it. That's the intent of this channel.
Yes.
Such
for the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Did you know that if you are unsure of what to study after 12th, there are colleges in India which allow you to try out various subjects for a year, and only at the end of the first year do you have to declare what you want your degree in?
I thought that happened only in gully cricket. Trial ball first and then actual over start.
Right. So in fact, Indian education system has had this serious problem that at the age of 17, just after 12th standard, you have no clue about what different subjects actually involve.
Yeah.
And you have to make the decision, and it's like a permanentish decision.
Yeah, I always thought that was very unfair on students. Like at age 17, you barely know what you want to eat for breakfast.
Right.
Deciding the rest of your life?
Absolutely, that is true. And in the West, there has always been this concept of, you declare your major only after a year or two of studying, and the same concept is now being brought to India by a few colleges.
Oh, okay.
They are called liberal arts colleges. So the basic idea is that, imagine that you are a student who's quite unsure of whether she wants to do engineering or psychology or economics or journalism. I mean, I regularly run into students like this, and either the students are unhappy with the choices that they have to make, or they just don't know how to decide.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I used to send them to career counselors and not very happy with that choice. But now I usually recommend to them that they should just go join a liberal arts college, right? What a liberal arts college does is that it allows you, I mean, it's the same college has all subjects in there, right? They have faculty for science, biology, computer science, etc. They have faculty for economics, finance. They have faculty for arts, history.
Hold on. So what degree does a student get when coming out of the college?
So that depends on what major you choose, right?
Oh.
So when you join...
That's what you meant when you said declaring for a major.
Exactly.
Okay.
When you join the college, you do not, you are not joining for any specific degree.
Okay.
Right? At the end of 1 year or 1.5 years, depending on the college, you might say, well, you know what, I think I want a degree in biology, in which case you will end up with a BSc biology.
Okay.
You say, I want a degree in computer science, you will get a BSc computer science, right? But if you say, I want a degree in Indian history, then you will have a BA history, right?
But so you spend the first 1.5 year learning almost everything.
Yes, and in fact, that is another problem I have with the Indian education system, right? If you choose engineering, you don't learn any biology, you don't learn any economics, you don't learn any history, and you are such a
narrow focus
that in the beginning of your career, it really helps you because, you're very focused and you get exactly that kind of a job. But for the long-term career, it is pretty bad, right? This kind of a narrow focus.
I thought having a narrow focus actually helped you progress quicker and straighter in your career.
See, that's like, progressing quicker and straighter initially, but then it has its own limitation. It plateaus out, right? Okay. If you look in the West, somebody did an analysis of the top CEOs of some of the biggest companies in the world, and they found that one of the most common backgrounds was liberal arts, because these people have a background in so many different subjects, and when you the top of your game. If you want to seriously achieve something in any field, you need to have exposure to all different subjects, right? You can't be just I am only an engineer, I will only study engineering, right? That doesn't quite work.
And there is precedent in a very famous person, Steve Jobs, who reportedly took a calligraphy course when he was in college, and that came back to help him while designing.
I love this example, right? Because Steve Jobs has himself said that the reason Apple computers has such lovely designs and such an attention to detail is because of that calligraphy course he did during his undergraduate. And that would not have happened if he was in IIT, okay?
This is the first time I've heard Naveen say anything that is not in favor of IITs. And that's, I'm trying not to, start a flame war here, but...
No, but actually, I mean, even the IITs are improving slowly. They are introducing other subjects, like bunch of IITs have economics, bunch of IITs have biology. And I mean, they've always had humanities departments with one or two electives that you took during the course, but that is increasing. So we are moving in the right direction. The National Education Program, NEP policy, NEP, has also encouraged this. They are in favor of doing minors. Do you know what a minor is?
Absolutely not. I never, unless you're speaking about younger children under the age of 14, those are minors. Or you're speaking about people who dig under the earth, those are also minors, but different spelling.
Stay away from both of those. But basically, when you decide that, oh, I am going to do my degree in computer science, right? You can additionally say that I want to minor in psychology, right? So that means that you have to do so many courses in computer science and then so many courses, fewer number of courses in psychology. And now you are a person who has
understanding of
both areas, right? And that makes for a very interesting background and interesting career possibilities, right? So again, the IITs have started doing minors, but if you want to do this properly, a liberal arts college has that is inbuilt into the system.
Yeah, and this inbuilt system, when you think about it, sounds very much like a try before you buy kind of a thing.
Absolutely. So, in our old system or the default system, like by 12th standard, you pretty much have decided what you're going to do. You're either going to do engineering, or you're going to do medical, or you're going to become a CA or something like that. That's already decided before you have even done any courses that are related to that, right? Because the physics you do in 12th standard has nothing to do with what you're studying in computer science, for example, right? So, but you decide. And that decision is based on God knows, I mean, like major analysis, because it's like a big important decision for people. And one of the things we always say on this program is that big analysis is not the right way to take decisions, right? The better way to take decisions is action. Get into a few cycles of the OODA loop. Something we talk about in another episode. You should check that out.
For those who haven't watched that episode yet, what is the OODA loop in short?
OODA loop is basically, it comes from American military doctrine. And what it says is that, I mean, decisions are based on observe, right? You collect data from actual experiments on the ground, then orient yourself. I mean, try to figure out what the overall situation is. Then you decide, then you act, and then this action produces more data. So the whole thing repeats. And one of the most important things there is that the more cycles of the OODA loop you do, the better is going to be both your decision making and your progress. Whereas in our current education system, you get to decide just once. Your 12th standard, and then the next decision is 4 years later, right? And by that time, most people are too afraid of changing anything, which is, we'll talk about this in another episode maybe.
We'll try that. But I without realizing it, I went through the OODA loop myself when I did physics bachelor's first, and then went into stuff and then into radio and stuff happened. But anyway, that's another story for another day.
No, this is an important point, right? The OODA loop says that you need to do quick experiments, right?
Yeah.
Whereas your experiment was like entire 3-year degree is like one loop of the OODA loop, right?
But there had to be some degree, right? There had to be something. Back then, liberal arts wasn't an option.
But today there is.
There is, yes.
There should have been.
So how do you implement the OODA loop in a liberal arts context?
Liberal arts context, I mean, the first semester, you take 6 courses, 6 different subjects. The second semester, you take a new set of 6 subjects in 6 different areas.
Okay.
And all of these, not all of this, but some of them are like the college wants you to take them because it's basic for anything you do in life, like critical thinking and so on. But some of these are based on your interests. If you had a list of 6 interests, you could actually take 3 of those courses in the first semester and 3 in the second semester. And now out of those 6, you have first-hand information, actual experience of whether you liked it or not, right? This reminds me of a person I know who was very interested in chemistry, right? And I mean, she didn't do liberal arts. She did actually an even better thing, took a gap year.
Oh,
okay. And what she did was...
Gap year is better, he says.
Absolutely.
You have to hold him to it.
Yes. But she went to IISER Mohali and spent a couple of months there, helping out in the chemistry lab there. And she realized, oh, this is chemistry. I don't want to do chemistry. Right? What a lovely thing to realize before you join college. Right?
Yes.
Not 4 years. I have friends who did 4 years of metallurgy so that they could go on and become a Bollywood screenwriter, head of an ad agency and so on, right? I mean, they deserve to have a liberal arts college.
They absolutely do.
Yes.
And so do I. I wish I had a liberal arts college. But then again, I never regretted the degree that I did. I never regretted the course, the education that I pursued.
I can give you a list of...
Of course. I agree.
And
I completely agree.
Yes.
Before we continue though, are there any liberal arts colleges already operational and thriving in India?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're relatively new. Most liberal arts colleges are like 10 years old. Although the oldest really is Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts in Pune. That's about 20 years old. But the top ones these days are, there is Ashoka University in Delhi. Well, not Delhi, it is in Sonipat, which is about an hour out of Delhi. There is Flame in Pune. There is Kriya in Sri City near Chennai. These are the most popular ones. After that, there's a whole bunch of new ones because pretty much everyone has realized, not everyone, a lot of people have realized that this is a good thing. So more and more liberal arts colleges are starting, and even existing colleges are making
liberal arts courses or liberal arts kind of structure.
Yeah, so for example, Pune University has a liberal arts course now.
Interesting. Right? This is the way, not the Mandalorian, but liberal arts.
Yes.
So we also spoke about the opportunity of going abroad and how, if it arises, we should take it. How do you compare these two options, going abroad versus taking a liberal arts course? Which one makes more sense? I would say the two
advantages of doing liberal arts in India is that it is significantly cheaper to do a liberal arts course in India than to go abroad, of course.
That's true.
Second is that liberal arts courses in India are much newer, right? And they're reasonably well funded. So they have a much more modern and wider set of offerings, the subjects they give. So for example, if you do liberal arts in King's College London, you will get liberal arts from like 2 centuries ago, right? You'll learn theology and Latin and history, and there is no economics, no psychology. So that can be problematic. But in general, if you go to top universities in UK, US, Europe, etc., the quality of teaching will be a little higher. And there is a whole bunch of reasons why going abroad has other benefits other than just...
Which we have already discussed in that entire episode. So we'll put a link in the show notes. Do check that episode out. It's fabulously well explained.
If money is not a concern, I would say go abroad. But if money is just a medium concern, then do liberal arts here. If money is like a major concern. You can't do liberal arts in India because right now liberal arts is quite expensive. Right?
Yeah. So probably in another few years, maybe a lot of colleges will start offering liberal arts courses,
Hopefully,
and the entire market will sort of come into an equilibrium kind of a thing.
yeah.
So two questions come to mind when thinking about liberal arts courses. The first being, it looks to me like the first 2 semesters will need really good teachers in all of those different subjects that we are talking about. Otherwise, there is a possibility that if I don't get a teacher for a good teacher for a subject that I like, then I might not develop enough interest.
Of course, I think that is true.
Regardless
anywhere, that when you say that a subject is boring, what you usually mean is that I was taught this subject by a boring teacher, right? All subjects are interesting if taught by the right person, okay? But one good thing about the top liberal arts colleges in India is that because they are so new and because they have a very modern outlook, they hire really good faculty, right? They hire top faculty from all over the world, convince them to come to India. So they're obviously even paying them
good money,
really well, like way out of comparison from more standard colleges in India. So as a result, I'm not saying that each and every faculty member there is excellent, but the chances of getting a really good faculty member are fairly high.
And then comes my second question, which I believe is the question that is on everybody's mind since this video began. Scope kya hai?
Okay.
In English, that means what are the possible, what do you call, how do you put scope kya hai in English?
What is the job market like? Am I going to get money? Am I going to get jobs, right? And the answer is that, okay, first of all, compared to say an IITN, right? The job market is of course nowhere close to as good for two reasons. IITs are like really cream and they're in STEM where there are lots of jobs, well-paying jobs, right? Whereas liberal arts is a much more fuzzy knowledge base, right? So initially there are jobs, but not as great. There is usually a few years of struggle for 2-3 reasons. One is that because the student got to study so many different things, the student has multiple interests, right?
Correct.
And they're trying, maybe I'll try this for a while. So they do something similar in the job market also. Second is that because liberal arts colleges are so new in India, industry hasn't yet completely caught on to it, right? So the campus placements are there, but not as strong as in well-established standard colleges. But what I did was a few years ago, I asked students of liberal arts colleges to share who have done it a few years ago and who have been in the job market for a while to share what they are doing. And I think consistently the feedback I got was that after a couple of years of a bit of a struggle, they landed really interesting jobs. I mean, of course, a bunch of them went abroad to top colleges like Harvard and Exeter and so on and did further degrees. But after that, they ended up with very interesting jobs in a wide variety of fields. I mean, from something as traditional as data analyst to, working on policy, international relations, think tanks, or, just NGOs. So lots of very interesting careers, and they were all happy with that after the initial period.
Fascinating. A lot of this description reminds me of my own college days. Although I don't have a liberal arts degree, but the progression is similar. I went from physics to content writing to technical writing to radio to
this. You did a slow do-it-yourself liberal arts.
Yeah, you actually did.
Yeah.
One final question I guess I can think of is, can anybody do a liberal arts?
Like I said, right now in India, it is primarily for rich kids, okay? The fees are fairly high, like from 5 to 10, 12 lakhs per year, which is high by Indian standards. Of course, all these colleges do have...
Did you say 5 to 10, 12 lakhs per year?
Yes.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, which is about 2-3x of engineering in private colleges. Right? Yeah. So it's high. They do have scholarships, But still, the problem is that because of that initial period of struggle for the job, if you are not well off financially, this might not be a good choice for you. You will be stressed out at the very least.
I think industry also needs to come in and start sponsorships of some kind, or because the way you've described liberal arts so far, it seems to be like there is great potential in unearthing some really good talent.
Yes.
Especially among kids who are not yet sure of what they want to do in life, which is almost, I would say, 90% of the kids. And this is not a number that we've. This is a number I've pulled out.
I should also point out, when you say, is this for everyone? I mean, if a student is very clear on what they want to do, that I want to do aeronautics, right? They should just go and do aeronautics, right?
But then
this is liberal arts isn't for people who are unsure.
Yeah, but then you gave the example of the woman who was sure she wanted to do chemistry, then spent some time in Hyper Mohali.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there is a category of people who have actually studied that subject. They have taken Coursera courses in that area, and they know.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
For them, there is no point in, like, trying various things. Well,
makes sense. Makes sense. I do agree. I do understand. Fascinating new thing that has come up, and if by the time you're watching this episode, liberal arts is already a huge thing in India, and lots of students are opting for liberal arts along the same level as your science, your commerce, your engineering, your arts, your whatever. Please let us know in the comments.
So, by the way, I must, during the episode, I have given the impression that you're not going to get jobs after liberal arts. That's not actually true, because just recently LiveMint did a survey of liberal arts colleges.
And by recently, we mean this is 2023.
Yeah. So a link is there. You can take a look. But basically what they found was that average salaries are lower than the top IITs, but higher than the average engineering college. Okay. So they're not doing too badly as far as campus jobs are concerned.
Fascinating little tidbit to leave you with, because we are now leaving you.
There's actually a lot of links. We have collected together information. Poke around, take a look.
Show notes.
And if you have any questions, ask us. We will get you answers from people who actually know the answer.
Yeah, we should actually get people like who've done liberal arts and have conversations with them. And
we can definitely do that. Ask your questions and we will get them answered.
Yes. AUA. Ask us almost anything. AUAA or something like that. Shrikant, Navin, this is Future IQ.
Thank you. Thank you for watching till the end. If you liked this episode, check out these others. You might like them also. And please share with your friends. I'm sure they will also like these. Thank you.